Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. Before you wonder, I'll just say it explicitly. I've taken a week off from Short Funk. And in large part, that is because I was launching a new conversation podcast with Jay Kimona called This Comes Next. And people who are familiar with the Stone Ape legacy and what occurred there would just think, oh, Tom took a month off and then started recording a new podcast. That's basically what happened. In terms of getting together with Jay and, just how it happened, it was very much just me putting out to the universe. I had a short list of maybe half a dozen folk that I wanted to record with, Jay included, funnily enough. And I just thought, let the universe decide which of these people actually wants to record a podcast with me. And then, so we've recorded 2 episodes. I think we're probably going to be recording on a weekly basis pending, mutual work and other commitments. But I think it's a format which very much is a logical progression from what Stone Ape was in terms of conversation. But unlike Stone Ape, where Aaron just wouldn't talk about a series of topics, I think Jay is considerably more up to talk about a variety of things. Now, obviously there were narratives in Stone Ape, particularly associated with narrative sexual programming and a variety of other things that I'd warmed to in terms of my conversations with Heron, and I got to a position where I felt comfortable talking about it. And honestly, Heron, in large part for Stone Ape, was a laugh track through a lot of it. In terms of his actual feedback and discussion and general discourse, it wasn't really moving in a direction where it was like a standard kind of co-host podcast circumstance. So Jay reset a lot of that. I'm very happy with the new podcast. I'm looking forward to having a number of discussions with Jay going forward. Obviously, there are going to be a series of topics that we're going to have to touch on that already occurred in Stone Ape just to get Jay up to speed with certain things. I think what interests me through this is the idea that perhaps my narrative has actually changed quite fundamentally from when I first raised these issues with Heron or through the many different discussions with Heron. And I want to point out that This Comes Next as a podcast is like a new and different podcast. It's not Stone Ape with another person. It's actually something which I very much hope Jay will shape in terms of her own particular interests and also the direction that she wants to take. And for folks who like the general return to basic linguistics and general resetting that Heron did on a periodic but somewhat regular basis with Stone Ape, you're not going to get that with Jay. We're going to have discussions associated with the mind where we use the term the mind. And that might offend some people. But I think in terms of expanding to a broader audience, in terms of getting a wide variety of folk involved, it's still very early days with regards to This Comes Next. And I think what interests me through these early days is that Jay, as Heron did, Jay brings her own audience. And who knows what direction they'll take this thing. Who knows what direction they have or want to add to this thing. And what I found particularly interesting is that through a lot of Jay's work, she works with standard card-carrying Democrats that think Obamacare is amazingly positive. And through this, I'm not really interested in changing my views and stance in this. I'm interested in expanding them. I'm interested in explaining them. I'm interested in offering why I think these views might be slightly better than the standard political narrative. But it's an interesting process. And certainly, I think in terms of just general levels of reinvigoration and just a sense that, hey, I can continue to record a conversation podcast without having to do major changes in format, or at least rework what I'd like to talk about in this kind of podcast. I think Jay brings a lot of things to the table. I'm going to send a shout out to my friend Rick for suggesting Jay. Jay is Rick's fiancé. So very nice to have a community that can present people like Jay to me when I need them the most. Yes, I took a reset with regards to Short Funk. My suspicion is probably I'll do a few resets this year with regards to Short Funk. What I tried to do through last year, which really went above and beyond various human abilities, was I tried to record every single day. And when I couldn't record every single day, I recorded backup podcasts for the days where I couldn't record. And I think it's probably easier going forward that I just take into consideration the fact that recording a daily podcast is a bit of work. It's a sizable amount of work. There are a variety of topics which I can talk about here at length, a variety of topics I can cut up and spread over multiple different podcasts. But in general, what I want to do is have a more normative relationship with Short Funk. A sense that this is not so much an obligation as it is a good opportunity to record about fun and interesting topics in a short format. Because certainly, when I think about Short Funk, certainly over the past year, a lot of it has been obligatory associated with filling the daily slots. And I think a lot of that was just artificial, and it kind of created a tension with the listenership where I'd throw out topics which honestly, normally, if I had an option whether or not I'd put them out, I probably wouldn't put them out having thought about them. But I still put them out to make it part of the daily Short Funk format. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.